Is DWAN 1206 AM, the future of AM radio. A member of the kapisanan ng mga broadcaster ng Pilipinas.
Ang susunod na programa ay rated PG. Patnubay at gabay ng magulang ay kailangan sa mga batang manonood.
Join us as we uncover the stories behind every game-changing moment with Bill Velasco. Get ready to dive into the heart of sports because it's time for your favorite sports step into the spotlight.
Isang napakagandang umaga po sa inyo lahat, mga teammates. Ito po ang Hardball with Bill Velasco. Ngayon po ay Miyerkules, July 16, 2025. Ang oras po natin, 11:03.
Hardball with Bill Velasco.
Tutukan mamaya ang ating eksklusibong panayam sa Executive Director ng Samahang Basketball ng Pilipinas na si Attorney Erica D.
This is Hardball with Bill Velasco.
Kasama din natin live dito sa studio si George Ho, ang Managing Director ng Sharks Billiards Association.
You're tuned in to Hardball with Bill Velasco.
Bago tayo magpatuloy, sundan kami sa aming mga social media accounts. Sa Facebook, DWAN 1206 AM. Sa YouTube, DWAN.1206 AM. Sa TikTok, at DWAN 1206 AM. At sa Instagram at DWAN 1206 AM.
This is Hardball with Bill Velasco.
Sa ulo ng ating mga balitang sports, ngayong Miyerkules, patuloy ang pag-arangkada ng defending champion Strong Group Athletics Pilipinas sa William Jones Cup matapos silang tambakan ng Qatar 81-54 kagabi sa Xinzhuang Gymnasium sa New Taipei City, Taiwan. Muling pinangunahan ni Javi Gomez de Liano ang opensa ng national team matapos niyang umiscore ng team high 18 points. Sinimula ng SGA ang laro sa isang 21-9 run sa tulong ng kanilang mainit na outside shooting. Magmula rito, hindi na pinakawalan pa ng Strong Group ang momentum ng laro. Sunod na makakalaban ng national team ang powerhouse team ng Australia mamaya hapon, oras dito sa Pilipinas.
This is Hardball with Bill Velasco.
Matagumpay ang naging pagsisimula ng Philippine Under-23 football team sa kanilang kampanya sa ASEAN Under-23 Mandiri Cup matapos nilang talunin ng Malaysia 2-0 kahapon sa Gelora Bung Karno Stadium sa Jakarta. Binuhat ng 18-year-old striker mula sa Virginia na si Otu Bisong ang kampanya ng Under-23 team sa kanilang tournament opener. Naipasok ni Bisong ang unang goal ng bansa sa 10th minute ng laro mula sa assist ng kanyang teammate na si Javier Mariona. Sinigundahan pa ito ni Bisong ng isa pang goal sa ika-40 minuto ng first half. Makakaharap ng Philippine team ang host nation Indonesia sa Biyernes, July 18.
This is Hardball with Bill Velasco.
Sa MPBL, matapos ang dikit na talo sa Batangas City Tanduay Rum Masters, agad na nakabalik sa winning column ang defending champions Pampanga Giant Lanterns. Matapos nilang manaig laban sa Valenzuela City Magic 69-64 kagabi sa Bren Giao Convention Center. Galing ang Giant Lanterns sa isang 65-64 na talo kontra Batangas City noong nakaraang linggo matapos ang isang late game meltdown. Nag-post din ng double-double 16 points at 14 rebounds ang veteranong big man na si Larry Muyang para sa Pampanga. Dahil sa panalong ito, napanatili ng Giant Lanterns ang kanilang pwesto sa top 5 ng 30-team standings.
You're tuned in to Hardball with Bill Velasco.
Sa MPBL pa rin, tuloy-tuloy ang pag-angat ng Binyan Tatak Gel sa Southern Division matapos ang isang 55-47 na panalo kontra Muntinlupa Cagers Lacan kahapon. Tinanghal bilang player of the game si Warren Bonifacio matapos niyang umiscore ng 10 puntos. Kabilang ang dalawang inside conversion na nagpahaba ng kalamangan ng Tatak Gel sa dalawang possession. Ito ang ikatlong sunod na panalo ng Binyan na ngayon nasa 12-7 standings. Sunod na mga kalaban ng Tatak-Gel ang Pasay Voyagers sa susunod na Miyerkules, July 23 sa Orion Sports Complex.
You're tuned in to Hardball with Bill Velasco.
Punta naman tayo sa volleyball court. Wala pa ring talo ang NX-led Chameleon sa PVL On-Tour Games matapos nilang walisin ang Galleries Tower High Risers sa isang 3-set sweep 26-24, 25-23, 25-23 kagabi sa Phil Oil Eco Oil Center. Tatlong manlalaro ng NX-led ang umiscore ng double digits sa nasabing laro sa pangunguna ni EJ Carino. Umiscore ng 16 points na sinamahan pa ng siyam na excellent reception si Carino habang nagtala rin ng isang all-around 13 points, 6 na digs at siyam na receptions si Jove Fernandez. Dahil sa panalong ito, napanatili ng Chameleons ang kanilang 3-0 win-loss record.
Hardball with Bill Velasco.
Samantala, buhay pa ang playoff hopes ng Akari Chargers matapos nilang maungusan ng Capital One Solar Spikers 25-23, 25-18, 25-23 sa pagpapatuloy ng PVL On-Tour Games sa San Juan. Nagawang makapagtayo ng isang 21-12 na bentahe ang Capital One sa third set sa tulong ni Rachel Austero at Sydney Niego. Pero bumawi ang Akari Chargers sa pamamagitan ng isang 13-2 run para maagaw ang kalamangan mula sa mga kamay ng Solar Spikers. Umiscore ng 12 puntos si Eddie Soyud para sa Akari na nakuha ang kanilang ikalawang panalo sa On-Tour Games.
This is Hardball with Bill Velasco.
Ang oras po natin ngayon, 11:08. Time out muna tayo. Sa ating pagbabalik, makakausap natin ang Executive Director ng Samahang Basketball ng Pilipinas na si Attorney Erica D. Huwag kayong bibitiw, magbabalik pa ang
Hardball with Bill Velasco. Gusto mo bang maliwanagan ang iyong problema sa legal na pamamaraan? Mga payong tiyak na may legal na batayan at mapagkakatiwalaan. Lahat yan ay bibigyan linaw ni na Attorney Melissa Arnesto at Daniela Sanggalang. Tuwing Huwebes, 5:30 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. Dito sa The Legal Weapon. Sa radyo ng Bagong Pilipinas, DWAN 1206 a.m. The future of AM radio.
Fake news! Laganap sa social media! Huwag basta-basta maniwala!
Check the source. Totoo ba ang website? O baka naman clickbait lang?
Alamin ang author. May kredibilidad ba? O peking account na gawa ng trolls?
Suriin ang profile. Totoong tao ba? AI generated o troll farm lang?
Maging mapanuri. Huwag magpalinlang. I-fact check bago i-share.
Isang paalala mula sa IBC at the 1206 AM. Labanan ang fake news. This is Hardball with Bill Velasco.
At ngayon, kinagagalak nating makasama sa linya ang Executive Director ng Samahang Basketball ng Pilipinas, si Attorney Erica D. Good morning, Attorney Erica. How are you?
I'm good. Good morning, Bill. Calling in from Shenzhen, China today.
All right. I know how busy you are. Thank you for your time. How is what's happening with the women's team that they seem to be struggling?
Yes. Well, today is a big day for them, no? We face two top 10 ranked teams in the world.
Wow.
In our first game. So that's Australia, which, as you know, talagang we didn't do well in that game. They are number 2 in the world, next only to USA. And nung isang araw naman, Japan ang nakalaban natin, number 9 ranked team in the world. And we fared a lot better, no? We were trailing the whole game. But I'm really proud of how the girls never stopped fighting until the end, hanggang sa nababa natin yung lamang and naging winnable game pa, no, sa dulo. Unfortunately, we still fell short, but I think it's a good way to end the game coming into this very important game today against Lebanon, no.
Okay. Would you consider this a transition period for the women's national team?
It definitely is. As we know, we have two veteran players who are not with us right now. That's April Bernardino and Janine Pontejos. Kasi unfortunately, no, there are orders that all military athletes cannot travel to China or any of its territory.
Yes.
So we have to play without them. But looking at the good side of that, we have picked up extra collegiate players, no, young players who are going to be future stars for Gilas, and nakakakuha na sila ng experience dito. And if you see how Coach Pat has played the team, all 12 players have been playing
Yes.
in this past 3 games. So talagang it's a good experience for the young ones.
Okay. Looking ahead, no, there's some big news on the front for women's basketball in the country. It's the country's about to host the FIBA Asia Women's Cup in 2027. What kind of work behind the scenes did it take para makuha natin yan?
Well, it's really a matter of pitching and convincing, no? The FIBA Asia office and the headquarters also in Switzerland. Bakit fit ang Philippines to host the next edition of this? And medyo mabigat yung pag-justify natin because as we all know, globally, malaki ang growth ng women's basketball. So lahat gustong i-host itong event na to. But because the Philippines, no, is only one of 5 identified countries by FIBA where basketball is truly the number 1 sport. And it's the only one in Asia, no, among those 5. Yun yung pinaka naging anchor natin kung ba't dapat dito gawin yung Women's Asia Cup sa 2027.
All right. Of course, with the country's experience with the FIBA World Cup, it would probably have helped. But from your perspective, no, kasi medyo global yung pananaw ninyo sa basketball. Bakit ang lakas ngayon ng interest sa women's basketball?
I think it's a number of factors, no? Number 1, syempre, nakikita natin yung iba na yung talent level sa WNBA. The product is very good.
Okay.
When the WNBA first started, no, meron ka pang makikita nagmimintis ng open layup, 'di ba? Or hindi magandang shooting percentage. Pero ngayon, shooting-wise, I think the WNBA is better than their NBA counterpart,
That's true.
no?
Yes.
Even yung distance of shots, medyo amazing yung ginagawa ng mga player ngayon. So, talagang nag-peak yung interest. Plus, the infrastructure that has been laid out also helps. What do I mean by this? Digital, for example, is available to everyone already. May access na talaga tayo. Dati mahirap pa siya panoorin sa TV, no? Pag hindi nakikarry yung rights sa Pilipinas, for example, hindi natin makikita sila maglaro. But because of YouTube and all these social media platforms that we have, everyone sees the highlights and is really gaining interest in the sport.
Siguro nakakatulong din, attorney, yung pag-usbong ng WMPBL. Now the local players have somewhere to go, hindi ba, after college?
Oo. Very thankful tayo sa organizers ng WMPBL because now may pupuntahan na after college ang ating women athletes.
All right, before we go over to the men's team, no, you are chairwoman of the Legal Commission of FIBA. What does the Legal Commission do?
So we review all the internal regulations and rules of FIBA before it's even approved by the central board. So in other words, lahat ng mga policies, for example, no, kagaya ng recently we were able to recommend or forward to the central board yung policy natin on how agents should be involved when it comes to transactions and things like that.
Okay. What about the policy of having to say which country you're going to play for before the age of 16, which seems which has been problematic for us kasi marami tayong player na hindi nakakapaglaro sa Gilas. Mababago pa kaya 'yon?
I believe so, no? It's hard to say kung kailan, pero ang mundo natin naman keeps changing, and I'm very confident that FIBA is not one na naiiwan sa naiiwanan ng panahon. Mag-a-adapt yan kung ano yung tama para sa sport of basketball. So when the time comes, and I think soon, no, makikita nila na basketball is really global, nations are borderless. So they will make adjustments to these rules, no. Of course, balancing fair play among all the nations, the federations.
Alright, well said, Attorney. Yung Gilas Pilipinas men's team naman, in what shape are they in as of now?
Well, they're starting to practice. So I would say they're in better shape than what we envisioned because si Coach Tim naman never thought that we would practice before the 25th, I believe, or the 27th of July. But he started calling practice since last week kahit naglalaro pa yung Hinebra sa PBA. Tapos ngayon pahinga na yung Hinebra sa sa PBA. Araw-araw na silang nagpa-practice under his lead.
Okay. What's the goal for this year for the men's team?
Well, we always go for the gold.
Okay.
Definitely. Diba? I do think it's a realistic expectation. I'm very confident in Philippine basketball in general, no, that we are really one of the best in Asia. And there's no reason naman for us not to be able to compete with the likes of, I don't know, the top 3 teams last time was Australia, Lebanon, and New Zealand. We've already shown that we can compete with New Zealand. We beat them here at home. And I think malakas naman yung tsansa natin. Pero sa mga short tournaments like this, Bill, it's really about gaining the momentum at the right time. Diba? Kung kailan tayo magpipeak. Pag mag-peak tayo in the quarters, baka magtuloy-tuloy tayo. And that's what we're hoping for.
Okay. Last Olympic cycle, we came very close to making it even though that was not really the plan. But for LA in 2028, ano pa po ang kailangan mangyari para makapasok na tayo sa Olympics?
So na-map out na rin natin ito, no? There are 2 ways to get into the Olympics. The first window that will open for us is through the World Cup. Okay? So obviously, kailangan muna natin mag-qualify for the World Cup and the qualifying windows begin in November. Okay? So we will be competing in those windows, and once we make it to the World Cup, hopefully we really do, no? What happens there is if we end up as the number 1 Asian team, and when we say Asia for this purpose, it really means our zone alone, not including Australia and New Zealand.
Okay.
So tayo yung pinakamalayong maabot na Asian team during that World Cup, automatically qualified na tayo. This is how Japan got in 2024 for Paris, no? Kasi nung 2023 World Cup, sila lang yung Asian team na nakatawid ng second round.
Yes.
So automatic sila na yon. Okay? The second way is if you're still a top Asian team, kahit na hindi ikaw yung unang-una sa World Cup, no, maglalaro ka dun sa ating tinatawag na Olympic qualifiers, which we did naman in the previous edition. Now, there are 4 slots in the Olympic qualifiers kasi 4 locations yung tournament, 4 tournaments. And the number 1 team in each of those tournaments will be the final 4 entrants of the Olympics. And obviously, that's the harder route kasi ang mga kalaban mo dyan is yung mga top European and America's teams na hindi nakapasok ng diretso because of the World Cup.
So mga desperado na yung kalaban mo doon.
Totoo.
If I can ask, as Executive Director of the SBP, how challenging is this job for you?
It's very challenging. So just to give you an idea, no, it's not about managing just the Gilas men's team,
Yes.
which is already complex on its own, the way it's set up, no. But it's also looking into all the other teams, the women's team, okay, your youth teams, even the 3x3 teams, okay. So marami ka ng team na hawak. Pero national team operations is just one part of the job, okay? You also have governance of all the basketball stakeholders of the country. So, yung mga members natin like the PBA, UAP, NCAA, we oversee them somehow. We make sure they're aligned with FIBA and all of that, no? Tapos, meron din tayong mga grassroots development, di ba? Kailangan we have to make sure na magandang participation ng basketball, which is, a little bit easier on our end for the Philippines because basketball is already very popular. So even if you don't push it, marami naman talaga naglalaro. But it's now a case of trying to put the quality in instead of just numbers, no, for the federation. So si Coach Norman is leading us in that, no, sa talent identification and development natin. Umiikot actually si Coach Norman sa lahat ng regions natin sa bansa to conduct clinics and talk to coaches there and teach them on how to teach these younger players how to play basketball, no. That will allow them to succeed in their careers, whether they want to just get a scholarship in college for basketball, whether their dream is to play in the PBA, whether their dream is to play outside the Philippines or in the national team. Siyempre gusto natin maglaro sila lahat sa national team. Pero kung ano man ang panaginip nila sa basketball, we want to help our young Filipino kids, girls or boys, to reach those dreams, no. So yan yung isang mabigat din na binagawa natin dito sa SBP.
Okay, with the appointment of former PBA chairman Pato Gregorio as the new chairman of the Philippine Sports Commission, and he's a well-known sports and basketball person, does this make your job even easier?
Yes, definitely. No, the fact that he was a former executive director of the SBP means he understands, no, the demands of the federation. So that's one. Number two, he's very supportive with hosting tournaments, which the SBP is sort of known for already, no, in the region. So tama-tama itong 2027 nakakuha tayo ng hosting, just as he sat as chairman, and in fact he's flying here tomorrow to observe also the games para we can really work together in bringing the 2027 Women's Asia Cup in the Philippines and delivering it, no.
Okay, thank you very much for your time, Attorney Erica. I know how busy you are. Thank you for granting us this interview.
Okay, thank you, Bill.
Alright, si Attorney Erica D, ang Executive Director ng Samahang Basketball ng Pilipinas. Sa ating pagbabalik, billiards naman ang ating pag-uusapan dito sa
Hardball with Bill Velasco. Mula sa pangangalaga ng kalusugan hanggang sa serbisyong panlipunan.
Serbisyong publiko na may puso.
Magbibigay kasagutan at impormasyon sa mga nangangailangan. Kasama sina
Justin Poncelang at Naomi Tiburcio sa programang Kapwa Ko, Sagot Ko.
mula Lunes hanggang Biyernes, alas 10 hanggang alas 11 ng umaga. Dito lang sa radyo ng Bagong Pilipinas, DWAN 1206 AM, the future of AM radio. Looking to level up your brand? Advertise with us, where everything you need are rolled into one. All in one. In one. From news, entertainment, to music, all in the mix. DWAN 1206 AM is your partner in reaching real people with real impact. For inquiries, send us an email at logansrunprod@gmail.com or get in touch with us at 02-7001-3053. DWAN 1206 AM, the future of AM radio.
Mga showbiz chika at intriga. Ano nga ba ang latest sa mga paborito mong artista? Huwag mag-alala dahil sina Miss F at Joey Austria na ang bahala. Dadalhin nila sa inyo ang latest trending topics at freshest news in the showbiz world. Dito sa EPAL o EPAL, eto pala ang latest.
Tuwing Lunes hanggang Biyernes, mula alas 12:30 hanggang alas 2 ng tanghali.
Dito sa DWAN 1206 AM, ang radyo ng Bagong Pilipinas.
This is not your average radio show. This is the mobile circuit. One mobile DJ, 2.5 hours. Pure sonic energy. Hosted by The Sting and DJ Yana. Catch the drum. Ride the rhythm. Feel the circuit.
Pump up the volume, pump up the volume, pump up the volume, dance, dance.
Friday nights, 9:30 p.m. to midnight. Only on DWAN 1206 AM. The future of AM radio. You're tuned in to Hardball with Bill Velasco.
At ngayon, ikinatutuwa nating makasama dito sa studio si George Ho, ang Managing Director ng Sharks Billiards Association. Siya po ay taga Hong Kong at ang background po niya ay investment banking. Welcome to Hardball, George.
Thank you very much for having me, Bill.
All right. Okay. Obviously, the first question is you spent decades in finance. Why billiards? What happened?
Okay, so I've always loved billiards, right? I
Okay.
started playing in high school, and then once I graduated, I spent a lot of time practicing. I spent almost 2 decades on Wall Street, and it was a time for a change, right?
Okay.
And so billiards is a passion of mine, and I was very fortunate enough to have met our founder, Hadley Mariano, and we just kind of clicked, right? And so I made the decision to leave the industry a little over a year ago to join SBA.
All right. So, what exactly are the plans for SBA? I know Hadley has a lot of great ideas. Sharking, having drafts, and all of that. What are the long-term plans for SBA?
Okay, so let's look at it in terms of medium term and long term.
Yes,
right?
okay.
So in the medium term, right now we're still very young, right? This is only our second
Yeah.
season. We've added a new team this year, and inside scoop for you, we're in negotiations for another team.
All right.
Not public yet. We're maybe 80% of the way there, but we're just waiting for some final details to be settled. We want to grow slow and steady, right? We don't want to grow too quickly because we don't want to dilute the product. Right?
Yes.
We want to make sure we're taking baby steps and making sure
Okay.
we do every step correctly. But the long-term plan is that we hope that we can become like the NBA of billiards.
Nice.
Right? So as a foreigner, I grew up in Chicago, but when I played
I was
pool-
born there.
Oh, were you?
Yeah.
Okay, we can talk about that. We can talk about that later. When I started playing pool, the first Filipino I heard about was Efren Reyes.
Of course.
Right? And this was, I heard about him in the late 90s, right? And so everything I did, I copied him, including like the way he does his little thing with his arm. Like I
Yeah.
used to do that, right?
Yeah.
And I'm sure a lot of Filipinos did that too when they started playing billiards. So everyone knows that the Philippines has the deepest pool of talent. And
True.
all the well-known international players at some time in their career have come to the Philippines to either find a coach or play like money games with players that are not known outside the Philippines,
True.
right? So this is the place to be if you want to be in billiards. And so just like the NBA is the place to be if you want to excel in basketball,
True.
we want to make the SBA that for billiards. And the Philippines is the logical place for that to happen.
All right. And you're telling me about not diluting the product. What about grassroots development, training teams? I know Hadley's been traveling the country, trying to look for more talent. But what is the infrastructure that you're going to put in place to guarantee that?
Okay, so this is something we've talked about, but again, because we're so young, we don't have the resources yet
Okay.
to do that, right? But obviously, if you look at other sports, so in the U.S. for basketball, you have AAU, you have
Yeah.
the whole junior high school, college, but
The
before
high
that,
school professional
there's
players.
the AAU, and that goes, I think it's like 8 and under, 10 and
Yeah,
under,
yeah.
and then if you look at European football,
yeah.
they have like the 12 and under. The system is very, very mature, right? I don't know why that hasn't existed in billiards. It could be because it's mostly an individual sport,
Yes.
right? And again, that's one thing that the SBA is trying to change is that we want to make it from an individual sport into a team sport,
Yeah.
right? So ideally, let's say after 5 years, right, when we're more established and we have more teams in all the island groups, then we can start attacking that part, the developing the grassroots and the junior programs, because a lot of these players, they've been playing since they were 8, 9, 10,
Yeah.
right? But without structure,
Yes.
right? But if you look at other countries, let's take China, for instance, the way they institutionalize their training, some people might say it's a little too strict, but there's a middle ground, right?
Yeah.
They will find and develop talent when they see it, right? And then they develop those stars to become national heroes.
And they have all these sports schools in every major
Exactly,
city.
and the government just throws money at it, right? They've been doing a lot for snooker.
Yeah.
They've been doing a lot for Chinese 8-ball, and you've seen pool players or billiards players actually travel to China to play in Chinese 8-ball tournaments. It's not even their sport,
Yeah.
right? But the prize money is so huge, like they can't not go,
Yeah.
right? And so I mean, this is kind of a long answer, but like, money is also, I mean, I hate to say it, but sports, it's a business.
Yes.
Right. And so until the money is there, obviously we want to spearhead that effort, but we can't do it until the money's there.
Okay. What about, you mentioned all the other types of pool. You have your rotation, you have 8-ball, 9-ball, 10-ball, snooker. Why has Sharks narrowed it down?
To 9-ball?
Yes.
The simple reason is 9-ball is easy to digest for TV.
Okay.
Right? So every rack. In 8-ball, you can have safety battles that last a long time. Because there's so many balls, your stripes and solids,
Yeah.
you can actually hide the cue ball behind your balls much more easily, right? 10-ball is a little too, I don't want to say esoteric.
Derivative.
Because 9-balls has an element of luck.
Yes.
Right? In 10-ball,
Sure.
you need to call your shot.
Yeah.
Right? So that luck part, I think, has to exist because every sport, there's some luck involved.
It's dramatic.
Right? If you look at, what was it? I think Kawhi Leonard in the conference finals, he shot that 3 in the corner, bounced off the rim, fell in last second 3. That's luck.
Yeah.
Right? Obviously, he's a great player,
Yeah.
but there's some luck involved, right? And so that's why. I mean, it's also probably the most mainstream of the billiards disciplines.
All right. Speaking of resources, where are SBA's resources coming from? Not just Hadley Mariano's pockets, I hope.
So, I mean, it's a business, right? So when our teams, they do pay a nominal franchise fee, right? But obviously the long-term business model is that we want advertising and sponsorship deals, right? And hopefully TV deals, right? Just like any other sport. I think we made a very, very good first step last season. I was very, very satisfied with what happened last season. Our finals was tremendous. You could not have scripted it any better, right? It was amazing. And I hope that in season 2 we can carry that momentum going forward.
Okay, but now there's also another matter about billiards. It's a professional sport. In the Philippines, the reputation is somewhat, smoky.
It's not just the Philippines.
Oh yeah. So how do you overcome that, which has been the impression for decades?
I totally understand. So I'll let you in on a secret because I know my mom doesn't watch this.
Okay.
I haven't even told my mom I've changed jobs.
Oh.
Right? So when I was younger, wanting to play in pool halls, she would forbid me from going. Right? She would say, "Oh, it's all the things that parents would tell a kid why you don't go to a pool hall." Right? But I just couldn't help myself. What we're trying to do is we're trying to, I guess for lack of a better word, institutionalize the sport, right? We have reputable team owners. They pay our players a salary, right? We're giving athletes a legitimate career path,
True.
right? If there was no league, they would just be playing money games until they retire, right? Only a very few players from the Philippines actually travel abroad. A lot of them stay in country, right? So we want to make this ecosystem where if I'm 12 years old, 15 years old, and I look at Carlo Beato, I'm like, oh man, I can be him, right? Or, Efren, no one can be Efren. There's only one Efren,
Yeah,
right?
that's true.
But when they see that, or they see our players, right? Let's say, actually one of our players just won a tournament last week, right? Alexis Ferrer,
Yes.
right? So when a kid sees Alexis Ferrer, he's only 25, right? He's like, oh, I can do that too, and I can make money, and I can even use the SBA as a springboard to do other things. And we're hoping that this can help change that reputation. Yeah. And I know it's unfortunate, right?
Yes.
But no one's done it yet, and we're trying to be the first ones to do it.
Well, what about on the women's side of the sport? Are there plans there, or there's no restrictions?
So that's actually a very good question. We haven't had plans to do a women's league, right? But if you've looked at other leagues over the past, let's say, decade, and actually F1 most recently, there are certain leagues who've done a really good job of attracting the female audience, right? So if you look at F1, you look at IPL, which is the Indian Premier League, they do cricket, right? They've done a tremendous job of getting a female audience. I think the first step is actually to get that first, right? Once you have a female audience, then it will drive interest from females into the sport. You might not believe this. The IPL, the male-female viewership ratio is almost 50-50.
Wow.
They even have female products sponsors like patches on the players' jerseys.
Like NASCAR.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And so if we can do that, I think that would be considered a great success because you're basically opening up another half of the market that hasn't been opened before.
That's true.
Yeah.
And like even in how hot basketball is in the Philippines. It's only the last, I'd say 5 to 10 years when women's basketball has started to take off, and this is the first year that we have a women's professional basketball league. So it's not far fetched to think that that would be the case.
No, not at all. Because I think one of the top 3 female players is Filipino.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Cheska, I forgot her last name. But
Centeno.
Yeah.
And then Rubil and Amit's been like a world champion twice.
And I mean, Den is also quite popular, or quite well known. So again, I mean, like it all comes down. I mean, it's the Philippines, right? Like it's just everyone knows this is the epicenter of pool talent.
Now, with the advent of open sports in the Olympic Games, do you foresee billiards crossing over into international amateur competitions? Because I know in the Southeast Asian Games, it's not going to happen because they know the Philippines is just going to sweep them off the table. Yeah,
There's no competition.
There's no competition. But do you foresee billiards eventually getting into events like the Asian Games, Olympics?
I mean, okay, 2 parts. Realistically, I'm not sure.
Okay.
Right? Ideally, yes. Right? Because anything that can uplift the sport, I'm all for it. Right? Because billiards or any sort of billiard sport. So let's say 9-ball, but like billiards started like as a table game.
Yeah.
Actually, no, it started as a lawn game.
Yes.
Right? And then it moved to a table with green felt.
Yeah.
But that's like the concept of a billiard sport is centuries old.
Yes.
Right? It's older than baseball, older than basketball, older than hockey. But why is it not mainstream? I don't get it. I really don't get it. Right? You can find a billiard table anywhere in the world.
Yes.
Any bar. Every person in the world who's been to a bar has probably touched a cue stick.
Yeah.
Right? And you don't need to spend money.
I even had the hexagonal ones from back in the 80s.
Yeah, they have all kinds of crazy ones.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, if I want to play basketball, I need to buy shoes at least, right? But if I want to play billiards, I just go to the pool hall. Everything that I need is there.
And your flip-flops and everything.
And your flip-flops, right?
Yeah.
The cue stick's there, the table's there, the ball's there. I don't need to buy any equipment. And it's so accessible, right? I really don't know why it hasn't been mainstream, but I hope that we can help change that.
Okay. Assuming the SBA reaches its goals and is able to expand more in the Philippines, what other territories or countries would you be interested in going to next?
Okay, so a lot of my friends have asked me this, right? They're like, oh, are you going to go to other countries?
Yeah.
And I think the short answer is trying to do it in another country without a reliable local partner would be very difficult.
Okay.
I think in the spirit of trying to create the NBA of billiards, we can start with other top players in Southeast Asia who would be willing to come here.
Yes.
Right, to play. If you get 1 or 2 Vietnamese players playing in the Philippines, all 100 million people in Vietnam are going to want to watch.
It's like the Yao Ming effect.
Yes, and they're all going to be cheering for their guy.
Yes.
Right? It doesn't matter, even if it's Efren Reyes playing, they're going to be like, no, we don't want Efren, we want our guy, right?
Okay.
Between Thailand, Vietnam, Indonesia, it's another 400, almost 500 million people. That's 5 Philippines, right, in terms of population.
And if by some miracle we could get India, then that's and China. That's more than half the world already.
Realistically, I'm not sure about China because they've done a really good job of developing their own ecosystem, especially with Chinese 8-ball.
Yeah.
But because we have a lot of Filipinos going to China to compete, I'm sure those guys might be curious too.
And teaching there too.
Yes. Yes.
There's that brain drain where a lot of our players go to the Japan, China, and other countries and get paid for a week or so to teach their players. Their players get better.
Yes. If you look at, in the Olympics, when you look at diving, all the top countries' coaches are Chinese.
Yeah.
Right? Because they just find those coaches and pay them, and they go. Yeah. So money will find the talent.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What about the acceleration? How do you accelerate the growth? Do you become part of the school's PE system? Do you go to more far-flung areas? Do you work with local governments? What's the plan there?
Okay. working with LGUs is definitely a priority because they can help us organize tournaments in various areas, right? It's something, even if we can't get their support now, we're going to do that anyway, and then hopefully they hear about us and they'll want to help, right? We've done our first scouting tournament this year. I think maybe Hadley mentioned it before.
Cagayan de Oro. Yeah.
No, the scouting tournament was here.
Oh, the scouting tournament was here.
So it was our first scouting tournament. We called it the Philippine Open, but it was really an opportunity for our owners and our coaches to look at players, right? Because it would be held before the draft. So they wanted to see, who should we draft on our team. We actually drafted 3 players from Mindanao, which is great because we're expanding our geographical reach as well. I think, actually, I want to tell you something. One player you should keep an eye out for is a guy named Mars Quizon. I watched him play a few racks, and immediately I was like, this guy's good.
He's going to be something.
And then I turned to one of the coaches of, I'm not going to say which team. I talked to one of the coaches. I was like, this guy's really good. And he said, I'm already talking to him. Right?
Okay.
And so this kid actually eventually got drafted, right? Which makes me really happy because the whole point of that tournament was so that we can find these players, not just from NCR, but they can showcase their talent, right? And this kid Mars, he's only 21. It was his first time in Manila.
Yeah.
He made it to the semifinals, and he should have won.
Okay.
He was very unlucky because on one of the last few racks, he hit the 6 ball too hard. Ball went in the pocket and popped back out.
Ouch.
And that match went hill. If that ball stayed down, he would have made it to the finals.
Okay. If a parent were to ask you, why should my kid play billiards and at what age should they start?
Okay. I'm not going to try to convince any parent to force their kids to play billiards, right? But I think playing sport, I played sports growing up, right? I played soccer, and every kid in America plays baseball, but I didn't play organized baseball. I played basketball, and I played volleyball.
Okay.
I would encourage any parent to encourage their kid to actually just play a sport.
Any sport.
Any sport,
Yeah.
right? I would encourage them to tell their kids to play a team sport, which is what we're doing with SBA.
Yes.
We're turning an individual sport into a team sport because it develops a lot of traits that you want in a person, right? Teamwork, leadership skills, ability to work with someone, conflict resolution, all that kind of stuff. But also listening to your coach, right? So that's what I would do. And then pool, I think, and why billiards though is, I don't know. I mean, I just love pool, right?
Okay.
So I don't know if you can tell. I love pool.
As long as they're tall enough to reach the table, right?
Yeah. I rarely have to use the
bridge.
The bridge, yeah, because I'll try to lean as far as I can.
Okay. For parents who want their kids to get into billiards, for kids who want to get into billiards, what would the child need to learn first?
Oh, form. Form is first. Obviously, like
So
any
back
sport,
shots later.
yeah, of course. I mean, you look at basketball, you look at golf. There's a textbook form, right? But the best players are not going to shoot. Like Steph Curry does not shoot in your textbook form for basketball, right? But he's the best shooter in the world. But having textbook form or starting with that is a good base, right? I never had anyone teach me that. So my form, I make my shots, right? But my form doesn't look professional, right? So you want to start with the basics first. Once you get your form down and you get a solid, straight and steady, consistent stroke, then you start moving on to the next things.
Do you foresee billiards becoming part of the school system, like PE? Because there are some combat sports like boxing. It's not part of the PE program here in the Philippines anymore.
I think I would love for that to happen. I think, but I don't think the SBA has the authority to make that happen, right? I think that probably has to come from somewhere above us.
Department of Education.
Yeah.
Okay. This team concept, of course, it's new. Plus, being rowdy during games. Do you see any countries studying it and maybe trying it?
So interestingly enough, I follow a bunch of Instagram accounts of billiards games in various countries, right? So a lot of countries, I don't know if you know this, like Russia has their own kind of billiards.
True.
Italy has their own kind of billiards. Brazil has their own kind of billiards. I think it's called sinuca, right? In Latin America, they have this other game. So, and of course, there's 3 cushions. So there's all different kinds of billiards, types of billiards in different countries. when I look at this, the one geographic area where I've seen they have sort of like a rowdy crowd is in Latin America.
Okay.
Right.
Well, they're rowdy about everything.
I mean, I don't want to. I don't know about that. I've never been, but it's just like just watching these highlights. I'm not. I'm not saying that they're experimenting. They've probably been doing this for a long time. Like if you watch if you watch the YouTube streams of random games in the Philippines, it's not like what you see on TV where it's really quiet, right?
Yeah.
It's like 100 people this close to the table, right? And then you see like dogs running around. You hear chickens in the back. It's like it's not going to be what you see on Matchroom, for example, where it's like very professional, right? So, are people going to experiment with it? I don't know. I think the reason we do it is because we want to make the sport more entertaining and familiar to the casual fan, right? Like our fans, some of them are, middle-aged women, right? They don't understand the nuances of the game. They just know if the ball goes in the hole, that's good, right? And if my opponent misses, that's good. So what do? When that happens, you cheer because you're happy, right? Can you imagine a free throw being taken where the crowd is silent?
Yeah.
No, you wouldn't see that, right? So as a professional billiards player, if you can't handle someone cheering for you or cheering against you, then, maybe you need to, strengthen your nerves a little bit, right? Because every professional sport has that crowd.
Has heckling and jeering and cheering and booing.
Yeah.
But no laser pointers.
No.
Immediately in the next year or so, what do you foresee happening for SBA?
The big thing is we want to add more teams, right? So like I said, we added one
How about
already.
more locations?
Oh, yeah. Oh, you mean locations as in team locations? Or?
Yeah, well, no, I mean where they will play, other venues.
Oh, okay. So as of now, we're not big enough to start playing in different areas, right?
Okay.
Obviously, eventually, if there's a home and away concept, that'd be great. If not, there could be a conference concept, or we can do by island group, or we can be a north-south conference. But until we get to that point, there's a critical mass you need to reach in terms of number of teams. In my mind, I think that would be 16, and ideally we have maybe 24, right? But don't quote me on those numbers. I don't want to overpromise anything, but you need at least a critical mass in order to start doing this, north-south or different divisions. Yeah, but it's definitely something that we've discussed and we hope we can achieve.
Have you thought about doing promotion and relegation like they do in football?
In football, no, not really.
It won't work, huh?
Yeah.
Because they can't even do it in basketball.
We can't do relegation because there's no league under.
Yeah. It's okay.
So what we do, basically what we do is it's just like having playoffs is kind of like relegation, right? So we're doing it. The format is similar to every other sport. You play a regular season. A lot of people, when we talk to them, they still refer to it as a tournament because in their minds, billiards is always a tournament, right? Just like tennis or golf, right? But it's a league. It's a season. It's a league. So there's the season, and then if you're not in the top teams, you don't play in the playoffs. So you're relegated that year.
Okay. So, how can we support you here at Hardball and other media entities? Because we only hear about it when it's people like Efren playing, Django, and all those guys. How can we in the media support SBA?
Shout us out whenever you can, right?
Right.
If you want to talk to our players, we would do anything we can to bring them onto your platform. I think talking to Mars would actually be very good. I feel like he could be a rising star, right? He's young, good-looking kid, great attitude. He's very, very stoic at the table. He's got nerves of steel. I feel like he's got a lot of potential.
We look forward to that. Thanks for your time, George.
Thank you so much, Bill.
Okay, mga kaibigan, magbabalik po ang ating programang
Hardball with Bill Velasco.
May nabasang nakakagalit, nakakainis, o nakakainit ng dugo. Teka muna, bago mag-react, siguruhin muna ang facts. Tanungin ang sarili kung totoo ba ang impormasyong natanggap. Kung hindi sigurado, hanapin ang source nito at tingnan kung sa reliable at credible na website o tao nang galing ang balita. Huwag laging nagpapadala sa emosyon dahil diyan tayo madalas nabibiktima ng maling impormasyon. Always be aware before you share. isang paalala mula sa DWAN 12:06 AM.
Agree ka ba?
Kasi kami, agree na agree.
Dito, hindi lang basta tanim at ani ang usapan, kundi buhay, kabuhayan, at kinabukasan. Agree ang bida at kaalaman ang ani. Kaya't huwag magpahuli. Makinig na kay Den Makaranas mula Lunes hanggang Biyernes, alas 5 hanggang alas 6 ng umaga sa radyo ng Bagong Pilipinas, DWAN 12:06 AM, the future of AM radio. Agree na tayo. You're tuned in to the hottest mix on air and on screen. This is Decades of Sound, from classics to now, with your DJ, the one and only DJ Sting.
Think I better dance now.
It's live. It's in the mix. Monday to Friday, 6:30 to 8 p.m. You're gonna feel this only on the 12:06 AM, the future of AM radio. Get in the vibe. This is Hardball with Bill Velasco.
Muli po kaming kakatok sa inyong mga puso at binabahagi ko ang isang taos-pusong mensahe mula sa aking matalik na kaibigan at kapatid sa industriya na si Nisi Casiano. Alam niyo po siya, isa sa mga pinakasikat na combat sports analyst at kolumnista ngayong panahon natin at nais niya ibahagi ang kwento ng isa sa pinakamalapit sa kanyang puso, ang kanyang kapatid na si Isabel, Ate Iggy Casiano, na kamakailan lang ay na-diagnose sa may brain tumor o na tinatawag na meningioma. Kasalukuyan ng sumailalim ng treatment si Ate Iggy, pero alam naman po natin kung gaano kabigat ang pagpapa-ospital at pagpapagaling dito sa Pilipinas. Ngayon humihingi si Nisi at ang kanyang pamilya ng suporta, dasal at anumang uri ng tulong na ating maibibigay sa kanila. Makikita nyo po sa ating mga screen ang QR codes ng kanyang BPI, GCash, Maya at GoGet funding account kung saan maaari nyong ipaabot ang inyong tulong para kay Ate Iggy. Kung malagpasan nyo po yan, ipumunta lang po kayo sa aming Facebook at pwede nyong hanapin dun sa dulo po ng programang Hardball. Kahit ano pong uri ng tulong, kahit dasal po, ay taos-puso po naming ipagpapasalamat. At sa aking kapatid na si Nisi, ang laban nyo ay laban din namin dito sa Hardball.
Hardball with Bill Velasco.
At syempre, ang ating palagiang pagpapasalamat sa ating mga suki, Nanay Elena Fernandez, Floyd Castro, Roxanne Sandoval, Christine Bonifacio, Kathleen Lagman, Clarence Yarte, Noel Orias, James Rodriguez, Leila Carino, Michael Luna, Tinkis Cristobal, Nelda Martinez, Criel Orozco, Jimmy Alabanza, Julian Rafael Lapid, B. Casiano, Rap Arca, Gab Ferreras at Lisa Palma.
Hardball with Bill Velasco.
At ang ating programa para sa araw na ito. Muli ang Hardball ay matutunghayan mula Lunes hanggang Biyernes, alas 11 ng umaga hanggang alas 12 ng tanghali. Dito lang po yan sa DWAN 12:06 AM, the future of AM radio. Kita-kita po tayo muli bukas.
This is Hardball with Bill Velasco.